So this is an interview on transness and all trans things. I'm Lil Bauer. I am the Comprehensive Sex Education Director at Surge, and you are?
I am Scarlett. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the Vice President of Surge.
I am Eli Adams. I use he, him, and I am head of public relations at Surge.
I totally forgot pronouns. I am an idiot. They, she. You guys describe your gender identity in like your own words.
All right. So I say trans guy. I don't like trans men. I also don't like trans boy. Um, I I'm like a manly muppet, I guess. But yeah, I wouldn't fully consider myself to fall on the binary spectrum. So yeah.
I tend to lean very heavily in the feminine territory, just because I feel like that's just the most affirming to me. Just I do like generally like kind of some forms of like androgyny and gender fuckery, but yeah, I do really think I define myself on like the feminine spectrum of things.
What experiences in your life have shaped your understanding of your own gender identity and like the gender spectrum itself?
I have a very immediate funny response is that I tell people that Catholic school turned me trans because I realized I was bisexual in like fourth grade. I was actually just thinking about this. I was listening to Haley Kiyoko on the way here. That song Girls Like Girls made me like, do I like girls? And then a year later, I'm like, am I a boy? Both in Catholic school. But it's really hard to say. I was able to come out pretty much instantly to a pretty warm reception. Honestly, David Bowie was a huge inspiration.
I can tell by
for
your hair.
my coming. No, seriously, the original haircut was inspired by him. I'll take it out now, I guess. But yeah, my dad didn't really have like trouble understanding. He introduced me to queer people by having us watch The Birdcage, which is still one of my favorite movies of all time. But I think having a cool connection between like a musician that we both really liked, like people like David Bowie and like Queen or Freddie Mercury specifically, obviously, I think that helped a lot. And having an actually like positive male figure in my life is my dad. It's definitely good for me.
Well, that sounds great. Having such an affirming reaction when you do come out.
Yeah, rare, unfortunately.
Okay, y'all are gonna flame me for this, but I feel like what was really formative to like me like understanding my own gender identity and like kind of like how I want to like lead my life is femboy TikTok.
That's so good.
Yes. I don't know. I just like my stupid egg persona, like prior to transitioning, just like was completely unaware of like, just playing around with the genders. I thought that was like cool for other people, not really something I need. And then I saw how good like certain like twinks looked in skirts, and then I'm like, I kind of like want to be like that, and maybe I don't even like the femboy. Maybe I could just be the femme part, and oh god, I'm trans.
Yeah, you took the boy out of it entirely, and now you're just femme.
Yes. So that is my gender timeline or a formative experience.
What have been some gender affirming experiences for you? Whether that be like medically affirming or socially affirming.
Joking about talking about like car shops. Lil and I were talking about our preferences, and then Scarlett was like, I have no idea. And then Lil's like, well, yeah, it's because you're a woman, you don't know things about cars.
Yeah.
And I'll let you answer.
I don't know, ever since I like got bangs, the amount of times I've been mammed instead of sirred has like dramatically increased. So I feel like that's just like on the top of my head, just like getting the bangs. Like honestly, we're living life right now.
Yeah, there's little things that we don't think of as being necessarily like integral to femininity, but like caring about like style and beauty and outward appearance, where caring about outward appearance is integral to transness.
Oh yeah, sorry. Quick tangent. Like before I like came out, like I just never really cared about like how I looked, or like, I always had like, long eye bags and like, wore like the very stereotypical like hoodie and jeans. And like after coming out, like, it's just definitely just like, getting affirmations like with like clothing, and that has just been a huge part of like transitioning.
Do you think the reason that you weren't necessarily trying is because you didn't get affirmation from anything you wore?
Yeah, I definitely think like it's like a day and night switch for like, you know, how I was before I transitioned, and after coming out, like I feel like I'm definitely like more in the spotlight, so to speak. So I definitely think like the more positive attention kind of correlated into like how I kind of like present myself as more outgoing currently.
I do have an actual serious answer. So I've been on testosterone for 4 years, as like a couple weeks ago, and I got top surgery a little over a year ago. So I'd say my medical transition has definitely been super important to me. And one thing is definitely my facial hair. It's like
Ooh, look at that
I
scruff.
did. Yeah, I think that every trans guy is entitled to having shitty facial hair for however long they want. Okay,
Well,
I may be biased for someone that has shitty facial hair.
I think there is an aspect of it. Every like any cisgender male that's going through puberty, which is what going on hormones is, it's going through puberty, is gonna have shitty facial hair. So you're a real man because you're also having that shitty ass experience.
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm rocking it. I think it also looks good on other trans guys. Is have your shitty facial hair. Okay, just do it. Yeah, someone noticed that some guy that works at the dining hall actually went, "Oh, you shaved your beard," because it's still growing and patchy. Thanks, Dad, for the crappy facial hair genetics. But yeah, also my deep voice. I was just playing a video of my dog the other day, and I was talking in the video in the background. I was playing it to my friend. I'm like, "Oh my god, that's what I sounded like." And then hearing myself on this recording later is probably going to be weird for me because it's crazy. I like my voice now. Yeah, it started changing like over 3 years ago, and I'm still like not processing it fully.
That makes a lot of sense.
You know, if you want facial hair, you can have mine. Like I do not like shaving every morning. You can have this shit, please. Please take it from me.
A fun thing that happens, I feel like, with every single trans friendship, especially if it's like trans femme, trans mask or something like that, we're all like, take it, or can I please have that? It's like all of the freaking time. Like with like one of my friends, like, oh my god, I would have kept my boobs to give them to you for a little bit, but it doesn't work that way.
Like a liposuction fat transfer situation. You're both students currently. What is your experience as trans students been?
I will say, for all the grief I give to Paul, which it definitely deserves, I feel like I've been in a very affirming environment. I mean, professors call me by my preferred name. I rarely get called he, him. And like I feel like there's just like it's just such a like a groundswell of like, you know, because I'm from rural, or not rural, but like suburban Maryland. There's just not a lot of queer folks here, so just like being in community with other trans gender non-conforming individuals has just been so like amazing and inspiring to me. So I definitely feel like my experience as like a student who is trans has been very positive.
So I am from Providence, Rhode Island, which my mom tells me like recently got voted as like one of the top places to live in the country for queer people. Okay,
It's
Lilla's
up there.
it's so it's like pretty good like safety wise. So I like I'd met other trans people, but I also went to a really small high school. Like there were 40 people in my graduating class, so they're it not really just being me is great. I'd say it's been pretty easy. No one out here knows my dead name, which is wild to me. I got it changed legally like less than 2 weeks before I moved out here. So that's been nice. Like I will occasionally get weird professors, but I am a major in public policy and health science, so generally it's like pretty chill professors. I have this professor still this quarter. My last name makes me first in the attendance list, so she's like sees my little like trans flag like cup koozie and goes, she, they, or like any pronouns you use? And she asked one other person that out of like 20. So there's definitely still some awkward moments, but overall I'd say it's good. Also, there need to be more gender neutral restrooms in this campus. It's freaking like deplorable, and the fact that they also make them a lot less accessible to unhoused people by making them only open by student ID in the case of the student center. DePaul, you need to be better about this. Okay.
In addition to the gender nonconforming bathrooms or gender neutral ones, it's also very necessary for disabled students. Like if someone needs to change their Dexcom, or if someone needs to like empty a colostomy bag, they don't necessarily want that to be doing that in a public restroom. So it not only is a trans issue, but also like a disability issue.
No, it's so weird. I'm literally, just the building I was just in, like literally half the like, gender neutral bathrooms are just closed. Like they're just, and they've been like that for weeks. And it's just like, where are we expected to go if like we don't feel comfortable using either of the binary bathrooms? It's ridiculous. It's like, and another like point about like professors being weird. I don't know. I don't know if this like happens to you guys, but like for me, I feel like I get like they them'd a lot as a as a binary, like like pre-binary trans woman.
Yeah, you tell people you use she her.
I use she her, and then they say they them, and I'm just like, I get what you're like. I get you're trying, buddy, but maybe try a little harder, please.
My go-to is usually they them because it's almost like my brain doesn't really work binarily. So I do tend to they them people on accident. But if someone gives me a preferred pronoun, I'm gonna use it. Otherwise, I'm just gonna go they them. But the minute they say a pronoun, I'm using that one.
I give a lot of grace for that exact reason, and a lot of people are like that, and I actually appreciate that way more than people that just assume. But like, if it's like I've told you so many times, and no, this actually happens to trans women, I think a lot more than trans
I would
guys.
agree with that statement. Yeah.
I understand, especially with the professors, you're not going to remember my name sometimes, so you probably won't remember my pronouns either, and like that's fine. But like, if after a certain point, it's just like, please get over yourself.
If I see someone objectively trying to do a certain gender, I'm gonna call them that gender sometimes. Like, especially if like I can tell that they're uncomfortable in a situation. Like if they're like as a queer person, we got a queer radar, and I'm like, I can tell when you're gay. Yeah. And I'm gonna be as nice and affirming to you as possible, no matter who you are, because I got a dog going. And I'm going to do the best I can. But what do we think professors should be doing when it comes to the pronoun situation, when it comes to like roll call? Like, do they want to, because you have the situation of just asking you and another student, and that's obviously wrong.
One of the shittier ways to go about it.
So do we want I've had professors in like the psychology program just be like, everyone say name and pronoun.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, everyone should just do roll call. Like, like everyone should like be expected to do it. I mean, I do it with I work at an internship where I like, work with high schoolers, and like we like, even though they don't really understand what pronouns are at that age, like we still just have them do it, or like ask them if like do they have preferred pronouns. So it's like a very easy fix, I feel like. And I mean, if like you really don't know, like you can err on like the they them side, but like definitely like try to be attentive towards your students' needs.
Yeah, I think definitely including it like in the roll call. I actually have one class right now where it's the class I always run into you. My disability rights and policy class, PAX 278 with Victoria Agunan. She's amazing. You should absolutely take their classes. They're lovely. Where we do like name, pronouns, how you're doing, and then a fun fact, or like not a fun fact, but a random icebreaker question like every day. I think that's great because they say specifically like sometimes people's names or pronouns might change at the quarter, so it's good to have that introduction. I think like that takes up like 10 to 15 minutes of the class, so I understand that that's not possible with every class, but I think at the beginning of the quarter, at least making an expectation, because like, what's your name and your major? I'm like, am I going to be the only one saying what my pronouns are? Because it does single me out, and also, it pisses me off.
No offense, in some classes, we all got the same major. Who cares if we're psych majors?
Yes, honestly, I'm not going to remember that. I don't need to know that, but I do need to know people's pronouns.
Yeah, I'm going to use that more often than your major.
Yes.
What fears or issues do you have navigating social spaces, or what things make it easier for you to navigate them?
Good job.
Thank you.
Because there's not enough gender-neutral bathrooms on campus, I'll go to them if I can. Also, I forgot to say, the one in the library always has something wrong with it. There's not soap, the door isn't opening right, or the sink won't turn on, which sucks to have to walk across the entire library floor to go actually wash my hands in the men's room. Mm-hmm. But gendered bathrooms, I'm like, basically I have to judge every single time I go in, like how I'm dressed, because I'm just scared. Like, I've like told people like, yeah, I got like harassed in the bathroom, not here specifically, but like even like in Chicago and like in New York and like bigger like accepting cities like that. It just still happens everywhere, and you're not ever really safe. I'm like, I gotta like put my bright nails in my pockets, and basically, am I wearing a crop top? Okay, well, I'll zip up my hoodie. what's made it feel better is just like what you were saying, actually being around a lot more trans and gender non-conforming people just makes it so much easier. Like I have some bubbles where there's just like no cis people, and I honestly like I forget what it's like to be in bubbles of just cis het people sometimes, and it's honestly I love that I forget what it's like.
It's a great opportunity to have, especially at one of these like medium-sized schools in a bigger city. It's a great thing. And also like with your issue with nails, my brother is a cis man and he paints his nails, but he's a high school teacher, so he can't paint his nails because it's because the kids are going to be shitty. So even this affects cis people too, and it causes them to experience harassment for being trans, even when they're not. But even when it's targeting the people that are trans, it's a million times worse because they're already so scared it's going to happen.
Okay, I'm going on a little bit of a rant. I don't know if this is necessarily it makes me afraid or like activates my fear, but something that I'm definitely very uncomfortable with is I'm a big gym junkie. I like hitting the gym a lot, and since it's like been really cold lately, I've tried to use the locker rooms more often because like the little shitty cubbies can't hold all my winter gear. So like obviously like and I'm like I typically just use the women's restroom or the women's bathroom because that makes me feel most comfortable. But a lot of times, actually almost every time I go to get my key, I am automatically handed the men's key, like without even asking me, or like not even. There is actually a line that's like
There's two different ones.
yeah, there's two different lines. One is for men's, and the other one is like women's and gender non-conforming.
I stand
which
in
is
the middle to ask for the gender neutral locker room.
yeah,
As it should be. It's in the middle.
yeah, and like and I'm just like, and it's like every time I'm just like, did you just hand me a men's locker room key? And I have to be like, just give me the women's locker room key, thank you.
Walking into a space and being in a line that says for women, but still being given that key is definitely demeaning.
Yeah, like it's been to the point where like I just start wearing like face masks, and then I put on like my super like up like my customer service femme voice to just like so I don't get misgendered, but like it happens every fucking time, and like yeah, so that is just really disappointing to see.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like a pain in the ass, and there's nothing you can necessarily do large scale other than like I don't know, file a report or something. But it's the every time the minor, seemingly minor task of saying, hey, can I have the other key? But you have to do it every single time.
I don't even give them the chance. I do always say it depends on how I'm feeling. I usually like do actually have to get naked because I mostly go to the pool to use the gym, and I'm not going home in my like wet swimsuit. But I usually use the gender neutral locker room. It's also like super convenient for the pool. But I go before they even get the chance to go. Can I get the men's key or can I get the gender neutral key? But it definitely it sucks. There's no way around it. It is super frustrating to just know that there's a specific desire of what they want us to look like in certain spaces. And also using the gender neutral locker room does suck on occasion, especially with the pool, because there's children there, because this gym has a lot of like families and like people that aren't students here going to it. And it's like the trans people and then a bunch of children, and I have to worry, like, is this parent going to be weird about me having like my top surgery scars out? It's usually not for long, like at all, and I can I go to the separate room to actually change.
Mm-hmm.
But that did kind of happen. I was just because they were standing. It was like 3 little kids. They were standing like in front of where my locker was. I just waited for 2 minutes. I don't care. But I'm like the whole time just kind of like clenching my fists. Like, are they going to be weird about the fact that I am in this room with kids?
Even though that is the room that you're technically supposed to be in, it's like, well, what do you want then? Yeah. How has been your access to healthcare as a whole? Have you got? I know personally that you've gotten a majority of the things you need, but how has that process been?
Not fun. Like, okay, since we're in Chicago, it was pretty easy for me to access a Planned Parenthood to like go to start my HRT. However, it's just been a pain in the ass with insurance because I'm from out of state. So it's just like it's hard to carry over. So it's a lot of money. I've been recently paying out of pocket for a lot of my estrogen just because of my insurance is up is totally fucked. That could just be a me problem, but like I guarantee
Not
most
you.
people like the insurance in this country is just unreal. Like it's just mind-boggling, insane how hard it is to like access gender affirming care or just any care for that matter.
So I started HRT in Boston actually, and I only recently, like this October, it's my sophomore year, switched to Chicago Women's Health Center to get my testosterone. They were really great. It was really easy for me to do that because it was just continuing care, which is going to be like you're already on the medication. I just changed the provider to make it a lot easier, so I don't have to go to Boston to do my lab work, which is an hour and a half away from like when I'm back at home. But yeah, I've been lucky, but I've like also been like helping people navigate, like go to this place if you want HRT, because a lot of people started in college. But yeah, I also recently got a bilateral salpingectomy, which is getting my fallopian tubes removed for sterilization, which is something I don't know if I could have done not in Chicago, because back at it's really hard to find a doctor that's going to do that on someone that's so young and like doesn't have kids. And I'm 20. I got it 4 days after I turned 20. So that's like there's like basically there's a lot of really good providers and opportunities in Chicago. Whether or not you have access to that really depends on like how you like how much you're like used to navigating insurance and like finding like healthcare, how much your family supports you, because like I've been able to ask my dad like what the hell is this copay for, like because I can talk to him about this kind of thing. So it's really like, even though we're all in the same place, we do not all have the access to the same things at all.
As a disabled person, insurance is a pain in the ass, and it really makes it, they are doing everything they can to not cover anything you need. And that goes to gender affirming healthcare as well as every healthcare. What is the most trans thing in your daily life?
Myself.
Me.
I'm sorry. I go about my life every day very visibly, openly trans. I make no effort to pass. I'm insulted when people think that I try to pass as cis. Sometimes it's really funny, like my friend who thought I was getting a vasectomy.
That's hilarious.
I'm like, girl, you've seen my packer. She thought that I had a micro penis and was insecure about it. I'm not kidding.
That's
really I knew this girl for almost a year.
1 or 2 times I've been asked, like, do you need a tampon, Scarlett? Has just been like the most affirming shit ever. It hits different.
How have you had to advocate for yourself and advocate for other people? Because through being trans, you unfortunately also get the role of an advocate.
My parents are pretty good at that. Well, one of my parents is very good about this. Shout out Dad. I love you too, Mom. But like the they theming is crazy. Yeah.
I'm impressed that it's the dad. Statistically, it's the opposite.
No, my dad is so fucking chill. I love my father. He's been like my biggest cheerleader ever since I've like come out as trans, and he's like,
Go Scarlett's dad.
Go Daddy Scar.
I'm pretty sure he's the one that
Daddy for Scar. Daddy Scar's daddy.
I'm pretty sure he actually got me this necklace.
Oh,
so
that's sweet.
yeah, love my pops, but like definitely like like calling people. I've been trying to like I'm kind of like someone who's more like socially awkward or introverted, so I've been trying to like be better about like when someone misgenders me, like it's ma'am, nope, not sir, not they, it's ma'am. Yep, that's what we're doing now. And just like continuing to like educate people, because there's a lot of like very well-intentioned cis people on this campus. However, they just say some of the most whack-ass shit imaginable, like you just weren't prepared for. So I definitely like got to keep like my cis people like on their toes, and like gotta like continue to like the work of like progress.
I think a lot of people expect me to be a lot more ashamed of myself than I am. Not just by like being visibly trans, but by being visibly trans, disabled, and a strange individual. Like, I'm gonna bring it back to passing because this is something that pisses me off very routinely. I understand the desire and need to pass, especially for like safety reasons and things like that, or trauma. Even if you're safe here, whatever. I totally get that. People thinking that I should want to live up to cis standards, or I should be complimented when they say that, genuinely really upsets me. I was actually talking about this like earlier today. about how like I don't even remember who this conversation was with, but I remember the conversation itself. It was like earlier in my freshman year. This person's like, it was a cis queer person was saying like, I'm sorry, I don't know if it's like weird to say, but I like fully thought you were like just a queer cis guy when I first met you. Literally before I could respond, like which is like whatever. Before I could respond, another trans guy butted in and went, no, that's actually a really great compliment. I'm like, the fuck it is.
You can't decide what is a compliment for someone.
For some people it is. Some people it's just like good to know, again, like for their safety and things like that. But saying that I should be complimented by being similar to cis people is just honestly truly insulting
And derogatory. Like,
It's
don't
like-
call me a cis person.
Please don't. When people think I'm cis, I'm like, okay, whatever, as long as I don't think it's supposed to be a compliment. Again, that friend that thought I had a vasectomy, hilarious. I love that story. I think it's so funny. No notes. But yeah, I do not make any effort to hide who I am. Again, like occasionally for my safety, I like back down a little bit, but I hate it. It pisses me off that I have to do that or anyone ever has to do that. So yeah, basically being an advocate for just strange transsexuals around the world. I don't know. I have so many trans stickers on my water bottle that I forgot at home.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I knew a trans man that firmly believed that like non-binaryism didn't exist and that every trans person should only be like on the binary, and that every I could go on. Do you want to?
It all goes. Yeah, I'm sorry. It all goes back to respectability politics. We're trying. Yes, literally. We're trying to achieve like this mythical norm that never existed and never will exist, and we're just making it like smaller and smaller for like a little bit of like upper class, sometimes mostly cis, but some trans people as well, and like for them to be on like the top while everyone else just kind of suffers, and it's just like this is not sustainable. This will not lead us to liberation, which is what we should be aiming for.
And transness and gender nonconformingness has been such a thing like all across society and time, like Two-Spirit, and then I think it's Hindu where there is a sector of gender nonconforming like
Every
trans women.
single
Every
colonial culture in the fucking world.
Sorry, we are literally everywhere. You cannot escape us. Colonialism has tried to destroy the history of trans people, and they fucking cannot. So
yeah, and whether
not new.
Not new. Well, it's not new. We have now, through the beauty of modern medicine, have allowed us to like be in the bodies that we so choose, whether that is a more able-bodied body or whether that is a more certain gender-leaning body or whether that's neither. There is, with our new society, we are allowed to do so many different things. So why are we limiting people when we have so much access to so much stuff?
When I look at someone and I'm confused about their gender or gender expression, I get so happy. It brings me so much joy. I'm like, I love you. You are doing this correctly.
Yeah, there is also the thing of I used to appear more outwardly queer. I was very highlighter colored, if you should say. And I have leaned more into like almost this like yoga teacher, yoga teacher, Pilates instructor, but part-time therapist position, like where I don't necessarily feel the need to express to overexert gender because it doesn't matter to me, so I don't do it. I wear men's clothes. I thankfully have been allowed the opportunity through therapy to feel so much more comfortable in my body that I now can just exist. And I hope that every trans person and every cis person, because gender affirming care is for cis people too. Getting a boob job, that's gender affirming care. Going on HRT because you're going through perimenopause is also gender affirming care. Getting testosterone or the little blue pills is also gender affirming care. Everyone should feel happy and safe in their bodies, no matter how they do it.
My roommate is a cis guy, and I'm so glad that I trust him because he's friends with a bunch of trans people. He's a grungler. If you know, you know. And I'm like, oh my god, I live with this cis guy that I don't have to worry about stealing my testosterone to get roided up.
Is that true? Do people do that?
I've heard of, yeah, exactly. So like if I lived with the right wrong, gym bro. I would legitimately have to keep my HRT like I keep it in the bathroom like cabinet, but
still.
I would have to worry otherwise. I think.
Anything else you would like to say to the DePaul community and the world?
Free Palestine. I don't know.
That too. Fuck ICE.
Contraceptives for all.
I think that's a great note to end on
Yeah.
as the Students United for Reproductive Justice. Yay.